A very good evening and a warm welcome to Personal Finance. I'm Gugulethu Cele. Today I'm joined in our Cape Town studios by Niel Fourie, who's the Public Policy Actuary at the Actuarial Society of South Africa, for a fresh look at the impact of tax changes on your salary and retirement. Good to have you with us today, Niel. And naturally, we're in a new tax year. What are the key considerations we should be looking at here regarding the tax implications on our salaries?
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I want to start out first to say people don't have to panic. There were a lot of panic around the new tax legislation, and in particular the compulsory annuitization. So most people know, the compulsory annuitization that's been postponed now for 2 years. And then the other tax changes will actually have an impact on very few people. And where it will have an impact, it will actually mostly benefit people, except for the really high earners who earn in excess of 1.2 million. So yeah, people don't have to worry.
Let's touch on some of those benefits, and I understand it relates to additional contributions you make to your retirement savings, but this time with a cap.
So maybe I'll start with what's the reason behind these changes, because currently there's 3 different types of retirement vehicles in South Africa. So firstly it's pension funds, then it's provident funds, and then it's retirement annuities. So for pension funds, up to date, you could actually contribute 7.5% of your own salary towards the retirement, towards the pension fund tax-free, and then your employer could contribute another 20% max. So that's 27.5%. And there were no caps on this. So whether you earn, say, 2 million and you wanted to contribute 27.5%, you could get that whole tax deduction on your salary. But now the only difference for pension funds will be there's that 350,000 rand cap. So like I mentioned, it will only affect very few people, high earners. There's also, if you want to change it, there's also it makes the legislation makes room for changing your pension salary, but most people won't actually change that, so I don't think it's worth going into it now. Then the second vehicle, provident funds. Under provident funds, the employer could contribute up to 20% into your retirement, and you can get that obviously tax-free. But you as a member, you couldn't contribute tax-free. So now the changes that's happening is that you can also now contribute 7.5% tax-free into your provident fund. So for members who actually contributed from their own salary, they would actually see a tax benefit and an improvement in take-home pay. So that's for provident funds. And then finally, retirement annuities. So previously the law said you can contribute up to 15% of your salary tax-free, but now they're actually moving it up to 27.5%, subject to the cap. Everything is subject to the cap. So members, especially because retirement annuities is a lot of people who work for themselves and so on, they go into retirement annuities. That's more of a individual retirement savings vehicle, where pension fund and provident funds are more of a corporate savings vehicle. So what's nice about it, you get a lot of people and they start their own businesses and so on, they don't actually have a lot of money to save towards retirement annuity, but when they get older, they're nearing to retirement, they actually want to catch up. So these guys can actually now move up their saving from 15% to up to 27.5%. So that's actually a great benefit for retirement annuity members, and also a benefit for provident members.
As we highlighted here about the impact on your salary, I understand that you've mentioned the different retirement savings vehicles and the impact that this will have on consumer salaries. But given the fact that it is a tough economic environment that we're saving, how do you then encourage individuals to make use of the additional funds cap at 350,000 when already the cost of living is so significant?
There's very few people who will actually reach that 350,000 cap. So for the other people, they will, if you actually save more tax-free, in a sense, SARS are actually saving on your behalf towards your retirement. So if you save more towards your retirement vehicle, you pay less tax. And I think that's the key benefit, the key drive behind this is to encourage people to save through tax incentives.
What about the high income earners? What potential measures should they put in place, as the caps will probably hurt them the most?
So for high income earners, the big thing is you should actually go sit and talk to your financial advisor. Your retirement vehicle, because especially if you're in a pension and a provident fund, it's on a group basis, so you actually get reduced fees, and your returns is also still tax free. So you would only start paying tax once you start drawing on that income. So it's difficult for the higher earners to give generic advice. So my advice would be go sit with your financial planner and decide on what options there are, and would consider the tax advantages, consider the cost advantages, and then you can make an informed decision.
What about for those consumers who want to expand and look to other retirement savings vehicles? And I allude here to individuals who might have a pension fund or a provident fund. Would getting an RA independently still be a good idea?
The thing is, pension funds and provident funds, they strictly run in terms of the rules of the fund. So technically, you can actually save all your retirement savings into one vehicle. But if the fund rules only allow, say, you can contribute up to 15% or 17.5%, then they say another 12.5% or another 10% you can contribute to a retirement annuity. The best usually it's the best to save your money in one corporate retirement vehicle, but like I say, if you should go look at the rules of your fund, see if it allows it, and if it doesn't allow it, then you should start thinking about maybe also investing in a retirement annuity. Because like I mentioned earlier, retirement annuity is more of an individual savings vehicle, so usually it's a bit more expensive than your corporate pension fund.
Niel, we've certainly said quite a bit. Let's get a quick recap now of some of the key takeaway points from this discussion. Niel, as highlighted, quite a bit for us to consider, but what should viewers remember from tonight's conversation?
So the first thing is that I want people to remember is they don't have to panic. The second thing is most people, there won't be an impact, and if there is an impact, it would be most likely a marginal impact on a positive impact on the take-home salary. And the third thing is that retirement vehicles have very good tax incentives, and they should make use of those tax incentives. It might be tough in the short term to implement that discipline, but in the long run, it's definitely worthwhile.
Thank you so much for your time this evening, Niel. We certainly do value your thoughts and feedback. A big thank you to Niel Fourie, who's the Public Policy Actuary at the Actuarial Society of South Africa, for joining us this evening. Now remember that you can also be part of the conversation. Tweet any of your comments to @CNBC Africa using the hashtag Finance410 or to myself @Gugulethu. Until next time, have a wonderful evening.